Hey everybody, Complex Mind, Simple Man. It is back, y'all. I know I done said this a few times because, as you know, I don't really like recording, but I had to stop and think about it, man. Why don't I grow? I mean, basically, I don't record because of insert excuse here, right? I don't feel comfortable recording. I don't like how I come across in recording, especially when I'm recording solo. I am too distracted on too many other projects to sit still and actually put together the content. And then the worst one for me is after I do the content and I look at the content, I don't like the content. Like I don't like how it looks. I don't like my level of ability with, post production and all that. But then I'd be like, yo, for real, one, won't get any better if I don't keep doing it. Two, it's not really important. I mean, it is important. How you present yourself and how you do things is super important. But what's more important is getting the information out. So let's try that. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a little gain some ground there, right? But pardon me, I'm getting over a cold that one of my wonderful children blessed me with. But look, so complex mind, simple man. You know, um, I mainly talk about social issues and talk about politics, right? So, one of the things that has gotten in my way is we were in a presidential political season. So, for those who are uninitiated into a little bit of my mindset, politics is just one aspect of how I believe you can achieve social and national change, right? And so during the season of the presidential election, those that year and a half, 2 years, that's where my energy was. Okay. And for those who may dib and dab with some of the things I say, or you've never even heard me before, it can sound like I'm caping for the Democrats when I'm not, right? I am one of those members of this thing we call the left that basically I'm a pragmatic mover, pragmatic thinker in a manner of speaking, right? My objectives are different than what the Democratic Party's objectives are, and they're way different than the Republican Party, and they're also different from your quote unquote progressives and things like that, right? So I kind of stand on an island in a manner of speaking, among other islands, right? So um yeah, just trying to put that out there. But anyway, so complex mind, simple man. I'm gonna come back with you. I got three different types of content that you will begin to see here on this platform. I'm going to talk about politics, my brand of politics, right? So we've heard this statement before. My politics are black. Okay, they're not red, they're not blue, and they whatever. They definitely ain't white, right? So my politics are black, but my methodology is about what makes sense and what moves the overall ball forward, I guess you could say, right? So I cape for the black community and all of its different variations, differently based on what I'm talking about. I cape for vulnerable communities in general. So when you're talking about, even though I don't know their issues as intimately, they are where I align myself because I consider myself to be a humanitarian, right? So I just want everybody, regardless of color, regardless of where you come from, white, black, red, yellow, all the colors that they say that exist. I want everybody to do better, have better, and be better, right? So I also cape for the persons with disabilities community. I cape for the queer community. I cape for the Latino community. I cape for, you name it. I cape for those who are being systematically broken down, marginalized, or even attacked under this hyper capitalist system that masquerades under the guise of racism and classism, but really it's really about capitalism, hyper capitalism, right? And then even within that, there's levels, right? So capitalism in and of itself, it's not a bad thing, right? But hyper capitalism, unfettered capitalism, for capitalism without reasonable controls and a moral compass and a sense of decency, right? I oppose that kind of capitalism, right? So I believe in what I've termed and probably already exists as a term, but since I ain't heard it from nobody else, I say it. I believe in compassionate capitalism, right? It's like a blend of socialism and capitalism, right? It comes together, right? But we get into that a whole lot more when I drop more videos. So just want to let you know. So politics is just about my politics. It's going to be my viewpoint. It's going to be more nuanced sometimes. It'll line up with a lot of things that the people who will watch my kind of video, a lot of things that you already agree with, and it's going to probably conflict with a few that you don't agree with, or however you feel about them, right? So that's the politics. That's one. Number two, I'm going to do things that are specifically catered and tailored to my community, right? So it's going to be about Black economics. How do we position ourselves, get ourselves more coordinated in such a way that we can compete better in this global landscape and push towards things that will benefit us economically? So we'll talk about personal finance. We'll talk about business development. We'll talk about networking. We'll talk about just broad concepts. We talk about anything has to do with economics in a way, mainly about the Black community as far as that's concerned. But then there's a third one that's really just Black community. So that's social interests, right? How do we raise our children? How do we raise ourselves? How do we interact with each other, right? What about when there's a big thing that happens in the news, right? You know, police brutality, mass incarceration, the things that afflict us, right? Being in the social strata where, you know, America does have a caste system because of the capitalist system and because of racism. And we sit where we sit, right? The Black community, as I'm defining it in this moment, sits right above the indigenous peoples community because they've been essentially eliminated, right? They've been isolated, they've been contained, and they've been diluted in many, many ways. So there's this very, very small group still left. So their voice gets drowned out in discourse. Presently, the Black community sits right above that. Our voice hasn't been eliminated, but it's getting quieter because there are new players in the game, right, who are asserting themselves in other ways, so that instead of us being like third down, where you had white, then you had Asian, and then you had Black. Now, and there's levels to this, but I'm just saying in white, Asian, and Black. And then Black. Now it's white, Asian, light, or passing Latino. No, correction. Let me fix that. White, Asian, white passing or close proximity Latino, Black, brown Latino, and indigenous. But those two, the Black and the brown, they can move, they can flip, they can move because we're really right here together, right? So yeah, I'm going to talk about those three things. That's what you're going to catch on Complex Mind, Simple Man. This video is meant to be short. But yeah, stay tuned. Oh, and because I do hate recording, what you will probably find is I'll be wearing the same thing in multiple videos because I probably recorded them all the same day. I probably recorded all of them one behind the other because I don't know when I'm going to sit in front of the camera again. Real talk. But yeah, check me out. Complex Mind, Simple Man. You can also catch me on Radical Truth to Power with my man Marlon on his platform, where me and Anna and Marlon get together and we chop it up. So please check that out as well. And I'll talk to you soon.